Hello, I'm Jackie Hayes, founder and chief marketing strategist of Crayons and Marketers, a full-service marketing agency here in Nashville, crafting culturally sensitive, data-driven content marketing for ambitious brands. And it is National Black Business Month, celebrating the tremendous impact Black-owned businesses have on the economy, our communities, and their families as they build generational wealth. For me, as a Black woman and Black founder, it was important to do something special to shine a spotlight on Black founders this year, especially after the last 16 months. The pandemic disproportionately impacted Black businesses in general, but also created opportunities for some Black founders to pivot and innovate. So we developed the Black Founders Courageous Comeback series, where during the month of August, we invite Black business owners to share their experience from over the last few months to not only display their resilience and to showcase their amazing businesses, but to also let the world know that we're here and ready and capable to do the work. Perhaps even more important, to hopefully inspire someone who may be on the verge of giving up. So joining us today is Netta Dobbins, co-founder of Mimconnect, one of the most engaged digital communities and trusted resource hubs for multicultural professionals. Mimconnect is an external support network that empowers those in marginalized communities to bring their whole selves to work. It has been featured in Ebony, Pop Sugar, Alpha Tech, BET, and more. Netta, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for signing on to do this series with us. We are so blessed to have you here today. When I learned about Mimconnect, I was excited to see a hub dedicated specifically for multicultural professionals. But then I learned you were here in Nashville. I was like, what? Why don't I know her? And so thank you so much for accepting the invitation to join us today. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and Mimconnect.
Yeah, so I'm actually a Nashville native, very, very happy to be back. Went to MTSU, graduated with a degree in public relations, did a little work here, but thought I wanted to work among the stars on the red carpet in entertainment. So moved to New York, where I worked as an entertainment publicist for maybe 2 years, and then was like, get me out of here. This is not my jam. And then transitioned into advertising, where I actually worked as a strategist at a multicultural marketing firm in New York City. And while on both of those career paths, I had the opportunity to sit at some amazing C-suite tables and work on all these multi-million-dollar brands. When I looked around, I was always the only person of color, the only woman, the youngest person in the room. I'm not even from here. Like, so many things that could have made my situation an isolating experience. So Mimconnect was essentially born out of that, born out of my need to cultivate a community of professionals of color who understood the nuances of navigating corporate America, and a way for me to like really create a resource that's beneficial to professionals of color and helping propel them to decision-making roles within a variety of different companies across the nation.
Awesome. And you know, and that's so true. And you know, it's hard to create when you think about being in a marketing agency and the messaging that they're creating, you would think that they would put people in the room that represent their audiences, right? And so you found that that wasn't the case.
100%. So it's weird because I worked at a multicultural marketing firm, and while there were a lot of people of color there, we were still outnumbered, right? And I think a lot of the issues when it comes to companies is that they look in the circles of the people that work there. So you're not getting any diversity because the majority of the people that work there look like you, right? But I do want to say that this company did understand the importance of having diverse bodies in the room. It's just, it didn't weigh out correctly.
Yeah. You know, well, tell me, so Mimconnect, tell me the story behind the name.
Yeah, so Mimconnect actually stands for Minorities in Media Connect, and it started just as a group chat on GroupMe. I had no intention of launching a business, and I was just like, add your friends that work in marketing and media so that we could be a resource to each other. In 2 weeks, this group chat had over 300 people, and I was like, oh, you know, selfishly, I had created this for me, but there was an opportunity to really build out a platform that was beneficial to a wide variety of people. So that was essentially the genesis of me saying, oh, there's something here, something that needs to be put out in the world. And today we've shortened it to Mimconnect because we service more than just people in the media industry. We do some tech, we do some healthcare stuff too. But we're reaching just about 10,000 professionals nationwide, New York City, LA, BC, Atlanta, Chicago, Nashville, and in some international markets in London and Toronto, which is super, super exciting. And today we essentially have two sides. So we started as a community. We understand how important growth is in community. So we still have that always on platform where professionals of color can hop on, connect with each other. We produce a variety of workshops and master classes, all focused on career advancement to give them the skills they need to lead. And then on the B2B side, we act as a diversity consultancy, essentially helping companies recruit, retain, and develop diverse talent.
And building that pipeline is essential for companies, especially after 2020. 2020 was tough. So a lot of times we like to think of it as a dual pandemic, but really it was three factors at play, right? You had health, wealth, and social injustice. So how did these factors impact you and your business over the last year?
So it's crazy because last year, I think Mimconnect got put on the map, right? There were so many conversations around social injustice and lack of representation and lack of equitable workplaces. And this all things that I had been preaching for 4 years prior to this pandemic. And everybody was like, oh, we're fine. We don't need it, et cetera, et cetera. So when the world essentially blew up and people had time to stop what they were doing and actually take an internal evaluation of what their company looked like, their practices, et cetera, they began to realize how far behind they actually were, right? And it was in your face. You couldn't hide it because people were being called out, employees were calling out employers, et cetera, et cetera. So Mimconnect actually thrived last year, which is, I know, a 1 in a million type of thing when in the pandemic, right? A lot of companies were reaching out to us. They needed help finding the talent. They needed help nurturing the talent. They needed help on trainings on how to make sure that they're scoring the talent correctly, et cetera, et cetera. So it's been a busy year overall for us. But yeah, we kind of got put on the map last year.
Right, because not every business suffered a loss last year, and like we were super busy last year because being a marketing agency, we had a lot of clients that were fighting invisibility last year. But what was important from last year is that I think companies realize that it is imperative that you have diverse talent, that you're building a pipeline of diverse talent, that you're looking beyond diversity and inclusion to thinking about equity and belonging, making sure that you're creating those workplaces in which diverse talent want to work and be a part of. And so what is one of the biggest takeaways you've seen from employers? What are you hearing out there?
On DEI lens.
Under the DEI lens.
Under the DEI lens, once again, a lot of companies are now admitting what they're doing wrong, right? I think before companies were maybe shy about it. Like, we know we should be doing it, but we're not going to put it out there. I feel like a lot of companies are more comfortable voicing, yo, we messed up, we're behind the ball, we need support. Which I think for me works well because now I know, one, that you're going to be able to listen, you're going to be able to take advice, you're actually going to put forth an effort to really look through the people that we send you and hire them so that you're actually going to create a safe space, right? So I'm hearing that they really, really do want diverse candidates, and it's being weighted. I don't know if that's the right word, but weighted when it comes to if a manager, if a C-suite VP level person gets promoted, right? They're adding it to that. So I think that they are 100% committed to hiring diverse talent. And then the last thing, this isn't really diversity focused, but I like to call it out that right now it's the job seekers market, right? There are so many opportunities for anybody looking for a job, right? And companies are going to war trying to offer better benefits, higher pay, et cetera, to retain or to get that person in the office. When it comes to diverse employees, I like to say right now is the time to shoot your shot, right? I think a lot of times we either apply for positions we 100% qualified for, we know we're going to get, and we don't look at, okay, what's the next level? How do I get there, right? So I think right now, if there's a position that you've been eyeing, you may have 75 to 80% of the criteria, go for it. Once again, they're looking to diversify their audience. A lot of these things can be trained internally. So I like to say, like, it's your time now or never. Shoot your shot.
Absolutely. And so for Mimconnect, thinking about last year, since you like you just said, you were put on the map, did you do anything from a marketing perspective that put you on the map, or did it happen organically?
A little bit of both. So I'll start with the organic part. Because I had been out here preaching this stuff for 4 years, people are finally like, oh, that's what Netta was talking about. Let me circle back, right? So I had already built a lot of these relationships, which was great. Two, we did launch a couple marketing initiatives last year to increase awareness, and we got some press around that. The first one was our Breathe sessions in partnership with a company called Bright Ventures in Kokoro. And essentially what Breathe sessions were 1 hour moderated sessions led by a licensed clinician or executive coach, where Black professionals or Black whoever could come in, and we would discuss what was happening culturally. So George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, et cetera, and how that relates to how you show up to work, right? I think as professionals of color, there's another level of things that we have to deal with in the workplace, right? It's external trauma, it's the microaggressions, and it's being able to do our job and execute on the deadline, right? So Breathe sessions allowed us to kind of analyze all the aspects of being a professional of color and giving them tactics and tips on how to navigate the workforce so they're not like just out there alone or feeling alone, right? A community, some tools, here's how you have the conversation, blah, blah, blah. The second initiative we launched was, once again, right after Black Lives Matter happened, and all the companies were like, we need to issue a statement around the importance of Black lives because we love Black people. And you looked at the company and you're like, well, where are they? Where are the Black people that you so love, right?
That's the first thing I do is look at the About Us page. I'm like, really? Do you? Because I don't see any, you know?
Right. And with that, a lot of companies, like, they felt like they were forced to do it. They thought it was a Band-Aid. Let's just say something and then everybody will leave us alone, et cetera, et cetera. Right. What we did was essentially build a directory to say, hey, if you really want to support Black lives, make sure that you're hiring Black talent so that you can support Black families. So we launched the Black Talent Directory. It was it is a list of 900 and growing active and passive candidates. A lot of the companies come to us and they're like, we want to hire diverse talent, but we don't know where to find them, right? So I hand them this directory and say, here you go. Here are people that are actually looking for opportunities. So those two initiatives, marketing, kind of social impact stuff, were what really, I think, propelled us last year and made us more of a go-to source when it came to diversity recruitment overall.
And that's amazing because a lot of the questions, I mean, when we saw a lot of companies rush to fix last year, you know, and so, you know, be it turning their social media black or doing these other initiatives. And so what we're looking here is, where is the substantive change? You know, where is the clear demonstration that you are very much committed to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging within your organizations? What types of programs, even with your employee resource groups, right? And a lot of times those things are a lot more work on the individuals that you create them for, with no additional compensation and things, right? And so you just started to kind of ask yourselves, what's happening and what should these companies be doing? And then it sounds like Mimconnect was a very big solution for a lot of organizations last year as they attempted to integrate more diversity within their organizations. And so since Mimconnect had a banner year last year, sounds like, and it's going to continue to grow and to do even more. So what can other small businesses do if they had the opposite last year, you know, as they're starting to power their ways back? What can they start to do now, especially with another looming variant and other things happening, and then things are still not where they need to be on the social justice front, you know? So that's not like a moment in time that just happened and we're kind of moved past it. That is something that has been happening for years, and it just came to a head last year, but it's still simmering right beneath the surface. Right. So what can businesses that may have had a rough go of it last year do from a resiliency standpoint and getting their businesses gearing back up?
I have a lot of thoughts, and it's going to differ based on what type of business you are, right? There are some service type business, and then there are product type businesses, and some of them can go digitally and some of them can't. So I'm just going to give you all the advice, and y'all can take what you want and leave what you don't want. The first thing that I think is super important, whether you've been in business for years and you're just now going through the pandemic and you're still struggling, or whether you're about to start a business, is that understand your mission and your vision, align on it, live by it, have it in your heart always, but be flexible about how it comes to life and how it's executed, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's the number one rule in business. Last year, we went through a pandemic. We have never experienced a pandemic in our lives. No one knew what to do, right? And that means, a small brick and mortar coffee shop might have to start selling coffee online with a to-go window, et cetera, et cetera. And that's not what you initially set out to do, but it's what's keeping you in business, right? So 1, be flexible. 2, find your community-driven mission or goal or what you think is going to help impact the community you want to serve and stick by that and create products or services that cater to that, right? Mimconnect, we've always been social impact, helping professionals of color. Last year, we saw all this happening. So we're like, okay, Black Talent Directory, okay, Breathe sessions, okay, retention and development workshops to make sure that these people come into an equitable and equitable environment, et cetera, et cetera. So it's okay to think of new things in new times to help you monetize and stay alive, right? And the more it actually impacts and serves the community you're serving, the better off you'll be. And then 3, I think if you don't have a digital aspect of your business, right, you have to do it right now, right? Because we don't know what's coming with the Delta variant and the Lambda variant and the Zeta variant. If it comes, like, we don't know what's going on, right? And we don't know how long we're going to be on lockdown. So you need to figure out a way to sell things online, to ship them, to just figure that aspect out. Because that's what's going to get you more visibility beyond your direct community as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, tech enablement has been key. And I spent a lot of time of Q4 last year helping companies come up with digital marketing strategies because their brick and mortars were shut down. We were working with a local organization here, and they were opening up online stores. And so you really have to look at, it's not okay anymore to say, well, I don't understand technology. We hear that complaint all the time. I don't do it. I don't do that.
From older generations too.
And I think, for older generations, I'm like, look, everybody knows how to do Zoom now. Even grandmothers and great grandmothers, they on Zoom, FaceTime, and babies, all that's happening right now. So for businesses, we have to think about how can we incorporate more technology within our businesses so that we can stay connected to our teams, so that we can stay connected to our audiences, and so that we're seen as a technology forward organization. That's one of the worst things you want to do, is be lumped into an organization that's dated, antiquated, not keeping up with the times. And so I hear a lot of business owners say, well, I don't do technology. I don't need a website. I can just use my Facebook. I can just do this and this. I'm like, no, you don't have to be, you don't have to be like, a tech genius, but I mean, you do have to have a good, a digital strategy. You want to have a digital marketing strategy, something that's going to get you in places that you otherwise wouldn't, especially if you are in a case like we were last year and you lose that in-person connection. I mean, how else are you going to do it? Exactly. I mean, this is my pivot. I didn't do video. I just want to say, now I get my clients, they are doing amazing things on video, but me, I'm good behind the scenes. So this is my pivot. This is me stretching myself because, at some point you have to get beyond doing what you've always done to get something different. And so that's what we're doing.
Exactly. And I think there's a sense of professionalism that comes with having your own marketing channels for your business versus your personal channels, right? Because I don't want somebody DMing me on my personal channel saying, hey, Netta, I need a job, right? It's just, we have to learn how to separate the two lives, especially during a pandemic, especially when things start to blend together, right? You have to have your personal life and your business life. So that's another point. Make sure that you have different channels for everything.
That's true. And so just to even dig into that, because you think about, and you probably can name a few people who they market their business through their personal, which, I do believe you can do a little bit of that. I think that's healthy, but it's something about creating a separate identity for your organization, for your business that is apart from you, so that you may want to sell one day, you may want to bring on more team members so you can get out and do some different things. But if you built it so much around you, it's going to be hard. People are going to be so dependent on you. It's going to make it hard for you to get out and do some other things. And so building your business identity is going to be key to sustainability of your company, because that way your business can outlive you, which is the goal, right?
100%. And some of the founders that I actually talked to who've ended up making business that were all about them, you kind of lose your identity in that too. It's like, because I'm now Netta of Mimconnect, right? And if Mimconnect fails, does that mean that I'm a failure too, right?
Yeah.
So I think also you have to have your individuality, understand that you are way more than this company you're starting to. And sometimes if you're unable to separate it, that could hurt your mental health in the long run. So
No, absolutely. And we and recently, I'm glad we're talking about that in mental health, because last year was hard on a lot of business owners. And so some of the things that we had to put in place in order to stay in business is, I tell some people, take some time off, take a
yeah,
couple weeks, get refreshed, because it was hard and we've been through a trauma, in our businesses. And as we, go into 2021 and now, believe it or not, into getting ready for 2022, what did we learn in 2020 that we took into 2021, and what things from marketing especially do we need to do differently to prepare us for 2022?
right.
And so what do you want potential clients to know about Mimconnect right now? Because I'm telling you, I'm just still trying to figure out why I didn't know about Mimconnect. When I was hiring, we hired 3 people this year. I'm like, why didn't I know? I had no idea. And so what do you want people who are looking to hire diverse talent to know about Mimconnect?
Yeah. First, we're here. I am local now, so if you want to do coffee, let's do it. But we are essentially your one-stop shop for all of your DEI needs. When it comes to recruitment, once again, we have a community of 10,000 people. We do everything from just brand awareness of your roles to full TA support. So we're here to help you along the way. Retention. So everyone is on a different path when it comes to their DEI journey, right? And we understand that, and we don't shake our finger at anyone. We just applaud you for wanting to be better. So we're here to help when it comes to that too. We do a lot of trainings on unconscious bias, diversity hiring, et cetera, et cetera. And then development. You can recruit diverse talent, but you have to also be able to develop them and give them training so that they want to stay and scale up within your company, right? Our online community, once again, provides access to a variety of different workshops and masterclasses focused on career advancement. And we also can come inside an organization and produce a few workshops around that too. So once again, anything you need, we likely do. Hit us up, mimconnect.com, mimconnect.com, and we're at Mimconnect on all social channels.
Did you tell a marketer when you see one? I mean, I love it. But you bring up a good point here when you say you can come into an organization, because a lot of our smaller businesses are starting to tiptoe into hiring, which is an important first step. And so can you walk alongside a company as they're developing their people solution?
Yeah, 100%. I think doing it early is key, right? Because if you bring in 10 people that look alike, it's going to be hard to change it. And it's going to be hard to really develop a culture that's inclusive, because those first 10 people are going to be the ones that kind of shape the organization overall. So we are definitely down to help as you begin growing your teams, creating your code of conduct, HR policies, all that. We got you.
Awesome, because that is so, you're so right. It has to happen. You want to start building that culture, because I think we underestimate, especially in small firms, when it's less than 5 people, the culture of an organization. But it starts so early that if we don't kind of shape what we want that culture to be, it's very difficult and expensive to change it.
To change later, 100%.
It is expensive to change it. So finally, what wisdom can you share for other Black founders out there striving towards their comeback?
I say this quote in all of my interviews, so you're going to hear it as well. Passion produces perseverance, right? Once again, last year was a hot mess. Nobody could have predicted it. Nobody expected all the things that we had to go through. And when it comes to being a business owner, whether we're in a pandemic or not, things will hardly ever go as the way that you initially planned them, right? And there will be ups and downs. Maybe within the span of 1 hour, you'll be, I can't do this, so oh my God, I'm amazing. I do it all the time. But just remember, once you're passionate about something, the mission, the vision, the product, that's going to allow you to persevere through the bad times, the good times, and it's going to keep you on the right track.
And if I could throw one more in there, collaborate, work together, gosh. And, collaboration has been essential to our growth. We are not afraid to partner. We know what we don't know and say, hey, we don't know that, or we don't do that, but it doesn't mean we can't bring someone in to do it. So don't be afraid to partner. We can't all be experts in everything. So that's when you reach out. That's when you build out a deep bench of talent and awesome people who have a similar work ethic. That's key. Similar work ethic, and collaborate. And so thank you so much, Netta, for joining us today. You've already gave us your website and your social. This has been amazing. And thank you all for joining us today for Black Founders Courageous Comeback Series. Don't forget to like our YouTube channel. Y'all, our YouTube channel is new. Again, when we talk about pivots, see, I set up a YouTube for y'all. So go out and like our YouTube channel, so we can get some people out there and you won't miss an episode of the Black Courageous Comebacks or any of our other future series. And so for more information on Crayons and Marketers, check us out at crayonsandmarketers.com, or you can also look at us on social. So again, Netta, thanks so much. Now I know where to come to do those job postings, because you do job postings as well, right? Did we say that?
Job postings, yep.
Put job postings out there and everything. So thanks so much. And we look forward to seeing you around the block.
Awesome. Bye, everybody.